Now, within this video, I am going to talk about a very important subject that obviously needs to be talked about because it is more or less warranted based upon the premise of what I'm currently seeing. And yeah, a lot of people are going to be pissed off because I made this video entitled it, rightfully so, The British Cuck. Why did the British people cuck on their own nation state? Here's a few interesting questions that I would like to ask, to which they have cucked upon. Why is it that the British people have sacrificed their freedom and liberty for so-called safety and security, to which they have received, obviously, neither? Why is it that they allow almost anything and everything considered tyrannical that is currently happening underneath their own noses and allow it to obviously go unhindered and unchallenged? Why is it that the British people allow all the corruption and tyranny to be done to them unlike anything ever seen within their own history? Why do they allow it? If the British people were so serious about stepping up, why haven't you seen major rallies or a major outcry for them to stand up and step up and actually be a people unified under the umbrella of being free, of not being tyrannized, brutalized, and dehumanized by their own establishment? Why is it that the British people allow their own government to treat them like trash, treat them like pieces of property, like cattle, treat them less than that of what citizens were treated before? Why is it that the British government treats non-citizens better than that of their overall citizens? And why do they allow it? A fairly instant point, people. Why is it that they allow all these things to be done? It's well beyond me. See, these are the things that the British people have cucked upon, so to speak. I think they like being treated like trash. They like being treated like cattle. They like being told what to do. They like being stomped on and suppressed and violated at every moment in time within their own miserable existence. I think they like it, or else you would see a major rallying cry for change. If the British people were so dead serious on wanting change, why do you not see a vast majority of them stepping up and standing up and saying enough is enough? Is this normal for a so-called Western country, for a Western population to allow this to be done to them and not go unchallenged? Is this uncommon? Is this unheard of? Absolutely. You bet my ass this is absolutely unheard of. Because what nation of people would allow themselves to be stomped on and to be treated like total complete slaves? Why is it that they allow this to be done to them? You only see what? 15% of the population standing up. And in a rare margin, 7%, if not 3% at best. At worst, less than that. 90% of the population wants to be pacified. They want to allow Big Brother to spy on them, to violate them, to dehumanize them, to treat them like pieces of property. Now, I have to argue, just for the sake of logic, that this is due to generations of indoctrination, of being turned into a helpless slave that must depend upon a government that is rogue and criminal. Obviously, I have to blame this on the institutions that have obviously failed and the government itself that has successfully, in a great deal of ways, have indoctrinated their own population into being nothing more than slaves. And that's precisely my point, people. Generations and generations of indoctrination have literally weakened the British people. It has made them, in a sense, self-loathing and cuckold. They honestly believe, and this is a vast majority of the population, give or take, actually believe that the actions of their government are justified, and that without their own government, without there being a new government for that matter, everything will be fine and dandy. Like it or not, this is the mentality of the British cuckoldry that we are seeing, to which they have been cuckolded so badly, so much, to which a vast majority of the population not only wants to be pacified most of the time while this is being done by their own government, but a huge margin, being in a minority, of course, but overall, 30 to 40% of the population even going as far as to support their own enslavement. That's how bad the British people have cucked on their own existence. Now, should we honestly say that they are all cucks? No. But a vast majority of them have been cuckolded to a great deal of extent into accepting their own enslavement, if not outright protecting it, and being treated like trash. Less than that of non-citizens who just walk into the country, not hindered, not deported, not removed. Nope. They are allowed in, they are treated like royalty, the red carpet is rolled out for them, and they are given everything. While their own veterans are treated literally like the scum of the world, who fought and who were promised certain subsidies, housing, healthcare, and all that, but they're neglected, they're left on the streets to die because, God forbid, they're less than that of scum, but yet they will allow people from unknown origins within the world to just walk into the country. Really strange how people are not even upset at that. But yet you say a few offensive words. Oh my God, oh my God. It's considered the end of the world. Now tell me, how is that not the mentality of the common average cuckold British citizen? Like it or not, people, the British mentality of being cuckold has gone on for too long. A vast majority of the population has been pacified into accepting their own enslavement, of being treated less than that of what trash is treated. And do you see a vast majority of the overall population, a huge margin, standing up and saying we ain't going to take anymore? Do you see a vast majority of the population saying we ain't going to put up with this any longer? No, you don't. Because generations of brainwashing, of being indoctrinated into assuming that the actions of their own government is justified in each and every given case, and that somehow their government is going to protect them when their government is failing to protect them from certain groups of people. Especially selectively enforcing the laws of the land to punish those who are actually trying to stand up for their God-given people, their culture, and their nation state. And they're treated like the scum of the fucking earth. They're treated like human trash. But yet, they will allow certain groups of people who are privileged, if I may add, to which I will not name, but we already know, they will give them luxuries. They will give them leniency for committing the most heinous of all crimes. And they will roll out the red carpet to people who are not citizens. And that's put in gently. They will give them leniency. They will give them all kinds of things. And they'll treat them like they're royalty at the expense of their own people. And the British people, in a vast majority of the cases, just put up with it. They are so pacified. That's how far the cuckold common average British citizen has become. And it is a matter of asking, how much more are they willing to put up with? How much more are they willing to tolerate before they say no more? How much more, people, is really my question. Because down here where I live, people would be upset. You would see people, at least in a minority margin, would step up, like what we have seen under the reign of Barack Hussein Obama. How fed up people were with his unconstitutional, tyrannical abuse and use of powers that be the state. But within the UK, the numbers are so low. Is this the successful work of indoctrinating the people by the actions of their own government to literally remain pacified in order to pacify the population into accepting their own enslavement, so that they are so cuckolded beyond one's own wildest dreams that they can't even speak out when it is necessary, needed for their own preservation of that of an entire nation state? How much more are they willing to put up with? Because like it or not, they are already being treated like slaves. They are slaves. They are being treated like pieces of property, like cattle. They're being stomped on, dehumanized, devalued. They're being treated like cattle herded into a pen and milked for all their wealth, resources, productivity, capability just being flushed down a shitter and taken away while being treated like cattle, whipped, beaten, and stomped on and abused. And you don't see them getting all riled up about that. I'm just wondering, how much more will they take before they finally say enough is enough? Is my question that I would like to ask. And how much more will they continue to be cuckolded before they finally break that mentality and finally say it for what it truly is? We ain't going to take it anymore. How much more is really my question. Because like it or not, I think it is more or less time to say we ain't going to take anymore. And enough is enough. Either you equally enforce the laws of the land and stop selectively enforcing them upon us and treating certain groups of people like royalty and giving them leniency for the most heinous of all crimes, or we ain't going to listen to you any longer. We ain't going to put up with it anymore. And either you stop treating these certain groups of people who are not a part of our country, if I may add, if you don't stop treating them better than us, then you are illegitimate. And your authority doesn't mean shit. Because, well, let's just simply put that you are illegitimate all the way to the top, to the very bottom. And we want something new that will represent the interests, needs, and desires of the common people. I'm just wondering, how much more will this British mentality of being cuckolded last before the people finally say no more? But who am I to say this? After all, I'm not even a part of that country. But it's just a fine speculation to which I want to explore within this video.